Hello everyone, this is Sam, and in today's video we're going to be reviewing what we know so far about the new expansion pack that Arnet is releasing on my 30th birthday, the 20th of August, Janthir Wilds. With this architecture that is heavily inspired by the Mersat, as well as what we had already seen from the Astral Core, we are going to enjoy some amazingly crafted areas. We are discovering a whole new race, the lowland Cordons. They decided to leave the seas, quite obviously, and to make their houses into this form of Viking-like environment. New enemies are coming around as well, and I believe this was Keith we saw just now. The new weapon that's going to be released with the expansion pack is the land spear. You can already use any of the spears that you use normally underwater for this one, but the special thing about it is that it is gonna get a whole lot of new skills and is gonna be available on every single profession. Another new and amazing update that we're getting with the X-Pack is in the form of player housing. I'm gonna have some more news to share about that later on, but we can already expect some amazing things just by looking at these pictures. Isn't that a cozy place? I would love to live between these walls. And as I said, coming in the summer. Now that we had a look directly at the expansion trailer, it is now time to talk about everything that is contained within the blog post. A fresh adventure is on the horizon. We are going to the fabled Isle of Janthir, which is a Guild Wars 1 location that people were expecting to be the next place to go to. The Astral Ward is going to be there, and they are going to be helping us discover these new areas and the lowland cotton colony in Janthir. We're going to unveil a lot about Tyrion's past. Hopefully we're going to get some fractals that are going to allow us to have a look at that past history as well. Now, the key features that are showcased in this blog post are mostly the new areas. We're getting 2 maps as soon as the expansion releases and a 3rd map down the line with some of the quarterly releases. We're gonna get that new content around, and as they said at the start of this blog post, we're gonna get to craft a legendary spear and a legendary backpack. What I expect is that since they said that we're gonna get these opportunities over the course of the quarterly releases, it's gonna be just like the PvE legendary armor. We're gonna get tier after tier after tier, and after a couple extra releases, we're gonna be able to have our whole tier 3 legendary spear. Now, we're gonna get some other stuff in the Wizard's Vault, some cosmetic rewards, and what they mean by relic effects, I'm not quite sure. Is that in addition to what the relics currently do, or is that different relics? No idea so far. But what we have an idea about is the homesteads. These are the player housing feature that is going to be added with this X-Pack. It is quite amazing that we are finally getting something that the community was asking for so many years. Homesteads are going to be especially amazing because there is this one dev that worked on The Sims 4 and who is joining the team over at Arnet to work on this feature, so quite obviously we're getting some in-game housing made by the best of the people who know how that works. Naturally, a feature to look forward to. And now the land spears. As we saw in the trailers, we had multiple classes wielding a spear on land. This seems counterintuitive for players who've been around the game for so long, because we all know that underwater legendaries are the most useless ones. The underwater content is quite scarce and not exactly competitive, nor bringing a lot of good rewards, so it's not exactly being tackled by any player. Getting the opportunity to use some amazing skins such as Camo Hali Kotaki on the land is definitely an amazing addition, and I can't wait to wield mine on all of my characters because every single class is getting that land spear. The only downside we get with this is that, sadly, you can't wield the same spear in both slots. So you're gonna have to equip that underwater legendary to put it on your land slot. The unexpected struck at our doors. Guys, we're getting a new raid! And with the amazing encounters that have been made for the strike missions and their challenge modes, for once, I'm especially hyped about this feature. Naturally, raids were a thing of the past, or so we thought, because the last one was released with Path of Fire, it was the Wing 7. It was actually quite nice, but it was the end of an era. After that, the only thing we got were strike missions and the DRMs, Dragon Response missions. This was nothing like a raid encounters, which were all finally crafted with tidbits of stories. It tied into the expansion story, it had its own little universe in a box. It was so amazing to play the raids, and the encounters were a notch above what was available in the game back then, so hopefully the team that worked on all these amazing strike missions is the same team that worked on making these amazing raids. And it is now time for the honorable mentions. The Warclaw is getting a PvE mode with a whole lot sleuth of new skills. Now, I don't play War vs World, I don't even have a Warclaw, but one thing I can say is that it looks awesome, and I can't wait to get my hands on it and dunk around in PvE with it. And I should also unlock my Sky Scale and my Turtle before I say that I'm gonna get that Warclaw. Knowing myself, it might take a couple years. Finally, we get news of a new PvP mode. Now, PvP modes are a thing of the past. Indeed, it was back in the Heart of Thorns days, the first expansion that was added to Guild Wars 2, that we got a new PvP mode. It was Stronghold. You had to guide your little scriptlings with the bombs towards a gate, bomb the gate, get to the enemy champion and slay it so you could seize victory. This game mode kind of fell out of grace not too long after its release. It wasn't quite as popular as the usual 5v5 capture the point mode, because that one was the classic, the one that was in the tournaments, the one that was in the esports league. Definitely not a replaceable mode, so Stronghold didn't quite get the spot it's needed. But with the new PvP mode, I am expecting that Ironet is learning from what worked and what didn't, and he's gonna cook us some amazing meal. And since getting new players is always a good thing, Guild Wars 2 is coming to the Epic Games Store. I'm not quite sure how many people are gonna be interested into it on the Epic Games Store, but we got a good influx of new players coming from the Steam release, so naturally I'm quite inclined to think that we're gonna get some good amount of players, and it's gonna revitalize the core areas of the game. Naturally, I'm gonna be talking about the whole spear thing in another video. This would take too long to talk about it in one single video. But one thing I can tell you about is the pricing points and what you get in the Janthir Wilds packs. So if we click that compare button, lads, we can see that there are 3 price points, and there is one which is way worth it. That is the ultimate version, of course, baby. The ultimate version has everything you need. The game, the shared infantry slot and max level boost, as well as all the fluff. So you're getting that sweet gem store stuff, but more especially 4K gems. The 4K gems are worth about 50 euros, which means that if you want to get any of the cool looking stuff, you should directly go for the ultimate, because getting the ultimate means you're basically getting the standard version and the difference in money worth of gems. You're basically getting the rest of the stuff for free. Trust me, I do finance. Now, of course, if you're not interested in any of this, get the standard pack. In my opinion, Deluxe doesn't quite cut it. So it's either the standard or the ultimate. Whether you get any of these packs, and it doesn't matter which one, remember to use a partner's link to buy the game, disable your ad block, complete that purchase. You'll be supporting someone. I'm not saying to use mine, just use about anyone's. Remember to use one, because that's the most important. As we move along, we should have a look at some of the pictures of that new X-Pack. The areas look finally crafted, and just like the start area, of End of Dragons. I would say that the map has a lot of verticality, it's not something I'm quite fond of, but we had some maps that were amazingly designed around verticality, such as the Tangled Depth back in the Heart of Thorns days. Hopefully we get an amazing map to explore. Actually, going back to that picture, I kinda get them Skyrim vibes from this housing type. Naturally, it is the Viking-ish inspiration, but you know I'm gonna love it. As I was saying, that inspiration, you know, like the wooden beams and that little bit of, how do you even call that? Is that hay on top? You know, I don't quite got the words in English for that, being French and all, but yeah, it's got that inspiration. Inside looks very homely, very cozy, and you know I'm getting that bed, the bed sheets, and that quadrant plushie. I'm all about them plushies, and I will want my little home to be designed as well as it can be. I think that there is an idea from the dev to make it able for you to use everything that you unlocked in your personal instance, the one that you have in the city, so you will be able to use all of your instance nodes and bring them into your homestead. So maybe we get some kind of little garden in the homestead and we're going to be able to use everything in there, but you know, I'm not quite sure how that works, but I think this has the potential to replace and sublimate even the personal instance. As we said, the spear is coming for all the professions, and it does look quite nice. This looks like it's the alley version of it, and there we get what I think is the Guardian, I'm not quite sure. The spear, like this probably isn't the final visual of it. I'm pretty sure this is like a tier 1 or tier 2 appearance. We're gonna get something even a step beyond. So yeah, reward wise, as we said, new visuals vault stuff, seasonal refresh and all that, and we're going to be able to get 2 new armors and weapon sets as well as other cosmetic rewards. So yeah, this is just great. Once again, I'm looking forward to the Guild Wars 2 X-Pack. Once again, I'm planning to play around it. Now, I wish every single one of you some enjoyment of everything that's getting teased, and make sure that you purchase that bag.